We continue our lessons number 1. I share my screen with documents. Okay, we stopped on this calculation time, shunting time for delivery car wagons from manufacturer to railway station and in another site. So we got to do the same. Could you finish already calculation? Could we go on the next formula? Or need time to finish the calculation of this time? I remember that we need to calculate 2 times. One t, little t with index sh, it is time for delivery from manufacturer to railway station. In second time, the same, we could write TSH1, for example, and TSH2, which is delivery from railway station to manufacturer. So we have to this time to this shunting time. Okay, and come back to our formula 1.3. And here we have, I do it up, and for calculating big T, it is this as a main time of our shunting work. We write is equal to find how many wagons we supply to our station. It's U multiplied by sums of these 2 times, 2 little t, TSH1 plus TSH2. So we multiplied by sums of these 2 times, please. And right is equal to, and we have time for this type of works and leave 2 points after comma. And the result will be in hours. Okay. So when we calculated this time, we could come back to other formula 1.2. 1.2. It is time big T with index CT. It is duration of movement of a car as part of a combined train in hours. These parameters also, and we write in our paper or in our electronic document that T with index CT is equal to, and in our numerator we write L with index R. It is distance from the departure station to the destination station in kilometers. We find these parameters in our table 1.1. Okay, find these parameters distance for our cargo delivery. Okay, L with index R, it is line first, second, third, fourth, 5. 5 line of our tables. It is distance from the departure station to the destination station. L with index R in kilometers. For example, for first variance it is 200 kilometers. For second variance it is 160 kilometers. No, and different types for other variants. Please choose your parameters. Okay, and we come back to our formula 1.2. So you write these parameters L with index R in our numerator, and now we need to find denominator. It is V with index PT. It is the speed of the prefabricated train on the section, which is assumed by the equal to 20.9 kilometers in hours in the calculations. So we have these parameters the same for all variants, and please in your denominator write 20.9 kilometers in hours and calculate this time this time for our delivery by combined train. The same, we leave 2 points after comma, and the result will be in hours. Okay, after this formula, we come back to our first formula, formula 1.1. And please write it. Let's say it is a delivery time by railway transport. It is all delivery time from the first position manufacturer to the station of departure when we already uh, delivered our cargo. Okay, right. Big T with index R, it is the main time of delivery by railway transport, is equal to we open quantity and we see the information about T is SH1 and T SH2. We already find these sums in formula 1.3. I remember you. We already sums this adding these times and already have T with index SH. So we don't need to find add now. So please write the result of your formula 1.3. And we don't use this sums now because we already did it. After it plus, we need to find big T with index RS. It is duration of initial and final operations depending on the type of rolling stock. For example, if we have covered wagons, we have one time. Gondola car, we have another time. Platform, we have another time. Now I open table 1.1 and you find your type of wagons and you could choose this time. Okay, type of wagons. For example, first variant it is gondola car. Third variant it is platform. Five variants it's platform. Please find your variants and remember which type of wagons for you. We used in this all variants only two types of wagons. Okay, and come back to our formula 1.1 and choose your time. But be careful because we need to use this time in hours because every other time was in hours, so we need to change from minutes to hours. What we need to do, for example, if you have gondola car, it is 15.4 minutes. We need to divide it by 60 and find this time in hours. Okay, please. If you have platform, so you use 20.5 minutes divided by 60 and find this time in hours.
Давайте це в нас поділити.
Yes. Okay, and after each we add the last hour time. We already calculated it. It is T with index CT. It's the result of our previous formula 1.2. And calculated adding all these times is and right is equal to and find the result in hours. Leave 2 points after comma, it's enough. We could find our different types of delivery time by railway transport, but very often it is near 20 hours. It could be 18 hours or 60 hours, for example, different type of times. Sometimes it is a very big period of time, sometimes very little because it is short distance, and after it we could calculate it and find that maybe better use car transport because railway transport is more useful when the distance more longer and longer than, for example, 500 kilometers and more because before 500 kilometers, more useful is car transport because it is short distance. And when we use railway transport, we need to prepare a very big part of time for saving wagons, for uh, collection it. So it's not very good idea for use for railway transport. But it is the same information. We need to calculate it, all parameters and find what is better, which type of transport is better. Okay, so we finish calculated all times parameters and go to our formula with money parameters. It is formula 1.5. It is the next parameters we used this time of delivery in this our next formulas. Yes. So we need to find K with index W. It's the cost of wagons used for cargo transportation is calculated according to this formula, yes? And we have the result in hryvnias. So write please K with W is equal to, and in our numerator, we use such parameters as P with index W. It is price of the car. In our cargo delivery by railway transport, it is price of the using wagons. We used Appendix D to find this information. I think you remember your type of wagons. You have platform or you have gondola car. So we could find now how many hryvnias we need for price of this car. I open this Appendix D. Okay. Now I show it and please use the last columns, no, first columns for wagon type, yes, and the last columns for find your how many, how much money we need to pay for using this type of wagons. For example, if you have platform, you need 45,000 hryvnias. Be carefully because in formula we used in hryvnias. So you write 4,500, yes, multiplied by the next parameters, or 55,000 hryvnias for gondola car. Okay. I think you find your parameters for your variant and come back to our formula 1.5. Okay. And the next parameter after this price, we multiplied by our U parameters. We calculated it, the result of formula 1.4. Press used it result. And after it multiplied by the result of our first formula, formula 1.1, our previous calculation. And all this multiplied, we divided by 24. 24 means that we have 24 hours every day and calculated it now. The result will be in hryvnias and we leave for 2 points after comma. It's enough. Okay. Our next formula, formula 1.6, It's the cost of cargo in the process of transportation. We very often could find these parameters as cargo on wheels. Is calculated by formula 1.6. So write please on your paper or in your electronic documents such parameters as k with index up index r. It means railway transport and down index CWH is equal to CWH means that it is cargo on wheels. And in our numerator, we use such parameters as P, big P with index C. It is price of 1 tons of cargo. Now we come back to our table 1.1 and find this information for your variance. Okay, price of 1 ton of cargo. P with index C. Okay, I open it is the fourth line of our table. Price of 1 ton of cargo, P with index C, it's grivnas by 1 ton. For example, first variance 15, second variance 6, third variance 36. Find please your information. Okay, and come back to our formula 1.6, sorry, 1.6. The next parameters in our formula, it is P with index stage. We already used it. I maybe come back to our table 1.1 and you could to see how is this parameters for your variance. P with index stage, it is technical norm for loading a wagon. It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 line of our tables. First variance it is 65 tons, third variance 45 tons, and other variance. Please find your. Okay, come back to our formula. 1.6 and the next parameters in our numerator multiplied by U and multiplied by T with index R. U is the result of our formula 1.4 and T with index R is the result of our first formula 1.1. All this multiplying we divided by 24, the same because we have 24 hours during one day. And right is equal to, calculate it please, leave 2 points after comma, and the result will be in grivnas, your age. Okay, and our two formulas, we need to do two formulas. We need to calculate it monetary cost of cargo transportation per year. It will be very big part of money because it's during all year. We planning, yes, for our transport, we planning for everything for big period of time, for example, per year. For these calculations, we need first of all to find the information about how many tons we could put in our wagons. For example, if it is 64 tons, we use this formula 1.8. If it is more than 64 tons, for example, you use formula 1.9. When we need to see this information, it depends from P with index stage. We use these parameters now. I show now in the table 1.1, and you could choose the formula. For example, if your P with index stage, it is 7 line of our table, we now use this information. For example, first variance, 65 tons. So we used second formula 1.9. Third variance, before before 64 tones. Because it is 45 tones, we used first formula, formula 1.8. Which variants we could use? For example, 10 variants, 54 tones. We used first formula, formula 1.8. Please see this information for you, for your variant. And I come back, no, and write somewhere this information because we use this PTH in our formula. Okay, I opened. This, sorry, yes, it. So if our P with index stage is before 46 tones, so we could use formula 1.8. And write C with index T is equal to, and use all these parameters and your P tag. Also, we need to use L railway transport. It is the distance for delivery by railway transport. We already used it. Yes, you could find how many kilometers. For one variant, it's, for example, 500 kilometers. For other variants, it is 200 kilometers and other. And use such parameter as K. It is tariff indexation coefficient. We have this the same for all variants, 6.071. And if your pH more than 64 tones, you use the formula 1.9, the same formula, but we used another parameters, and we use these parameters pH here in squared. Square it. Be carefully because in second formula we have a square it, and in first formulas we didn't have it. Okay, please find your formulas and calculate it now. Oh, our time, we have 1 minute to the finish of our lesson, so maybe we finished on the next lessons and started with this last part of our task for task 1.1. So maybe stopped now because you need time, yes, for your break before the next lessons, and we stop now, and on the next lessons we continue from this formula. You could finish it and to calculate it formula 1.7. So I stopped it now. Okay. Thank you for your attention today, and if you could to work, or if no, you could to see these records and to do it later in your free time. Okay, if you have some questions, you could discuss it on our next lessons, or you could write me before the lessons by email, for example. Okay, thank you. I hope that all will good and you understand all this information and have good day. Okay, goodbye. We finished our
Thank you.
lessons.
Goodbye.
Thank you. Goodbye.